G'day Internet, and welcome back to Crash Test Gaming as we are continuing with Arms Trade Tycoon tanks, and it is mid-1917, and where we left off, we are pulling apart the FT-17. So at the moment, whoops, we've just got the engine to go, and we're redesigning a design for the main body, so we should just about be able to build one for ourselves. Now we are also designing the steel MK2, and we had a suggestion for the name, the revision O. We shall call it the Cane Toad. So somebody can field a whole bunch of these little 10-ton tanks and cover the battlefield with them, much like the ubiquitous cane toad in Queensland of Australia. So we shall do that. We're currently designing I'll need to rename that as well. No, we can't do that at the moment. That's with the AT gun in it instead, and that's the one we're designing at the moment with 6 days left. I just need to check, did I put 2 commanders in? Yeah, yes I did. So we'll have to redesign that anyway. So we shall take the commander out. Oh well, we'll clone that. We'll get rid of that, and we will change the crew. So we will need another gunner. There we go. And we will rename that to a cane toad, and we'll call it, so this is the up armored steel one, so Rev A with a hard target gun, so we'll call it the Rev AH. And we might want to put some HE ammo in it and make another variant. We'll call it the soft attack variant, so Rev AS. And we'll get working on that. And most importantly is the research, which I went through half of yesterday's episode, or the last episode, without researching anything. So we've still got to get the engine and the tracks ready for our Liberty design. So we'll take the V-shape engine, we'll start doing that, and after that we'll need the track, so that'll be 74 days for the engine. And also to mention, I did play the game through to 1920 last night, and it appears that interwar tech and buildings, or the tier 2 tech and buildings, aren't in the game at the moment, because I ended up completely finishing the research and just to see if we could get to it. Unfortunately, we can't. So what happened was I wasn't even halfway on the achievement meter. I think it was around about here that my achievement bar filled up to by 1920. So I think the devs have held that off to keep that behind closed doors until later in the early access. So it's just the World War I period at the moment, even though we can play through to 1934. So my aim of getting some episodes out with interwar tech in it is going to come to naught, so I do apologise for that. And so our plans for the shorter period is to get to a full Liberty tank today, and in the meantime, as far as designs go, we will continue to sell the Joey and the Drop Bear as our main 2 tanks for sale. So the The Bull, I think, while it's a big tank, it's just got the two, well, the one gun and the two machine guns. It's a very expensive tank, 27,000 for the armament that it has, and I think our Mark Fives can cover that quite well. I mean, we've got the Skippy, which has two machine guns, one in the front, one in the back in the main hull, and two side cannons. So until we research the combo sponsons, the tracks and the engine, I think we'll keep on selling the Skippy, and after we get the LK series designed so that we've got a couple of variants of that, we'll design a new Echidna series, maybe making it a true hermaphrodite by putting a couple of machine guns on the side to make it have even more soft power. So that's the short-term aims for the game, and we will continue time until our Cane Toad is ready and we can have a look at the Renault's engine. And our contract offers that came in at the end of last episode from France and Britain have just come in as successful. We are going to be supplying both of them with 30 tanks, 30 for the French of the Mark V Skippy, or the anti-tank vehicle, and 30 of the Drop Bear for the British. So we will go and ship off the ones for France. We've got 30 Skippies in stock. If we use Winkerton and Sons, that will reach them on the 21st, which is almost a month to spare. So yes, we'll send those off. And we currently have 20 Drop Bears in stock, so we'll just wait till we finish our production there, which we need another 10. I've only got 5 queued up, so after those 5 are, oh, it's 5 of 15, I've got another 10 coming. So they'll only take 10 days, and we'll be able to ship off our tanks to the British. And our Cane Toad is now ready, so we shall throw that into the proving grounds to start working on its defects. And if we go back to the design bureau, we might see what sort of FT we can knock together. So we create a FT 17 with the 4-cylinder motor in it, which has very quick motor, 23 road speed. So it's hard to believe this was the motor we're using in the LK, which was very slow, has 23 road speed. That is strange. We can put the Schneider tracks on it, which aren't the original tracks, I think. The photos I've seen of this tank, they had a bigger wheel at the front. That might have been just a replica model though. And the Girod turret, we'll put the steel cast one on. So we're looking at nearly a 12-ton tank here for the FT, and that will have no machine guns, just the SA gun, which I think the LK might be the better tank for us to stick with, just because it has the 3 machine guns plus this gun when we put the Girod turret onto the Cane Toad. Sorry, I've got to remember the names that I have for them. So we could design one of these, but I'm not sure if we're gonna sell it. What's the armor like? The armor on the FT is 24 at the front, and if we go back to designs and look at the LK steel, and we'll save the design. So that's 18 at front. So the FT is a lot thicker at the front, but it's going to have a lot less armament. I think we'll design this, and we'll we'll look at it as an option when contracts come up, but we'll just have to see how it competes. It's only got 2 crew as well, so we'll have to put a commander gunner in there, and the other one's going to have to be a driver loader. Driver mechanic. We're not going to have a loader. Oh, no, we don't need a loader. So driver mechanic and a gunner commander. So that's not going to have the best crew performance. We will expendables, petrol 50. Now what armament should we put? I think we'll use this. I mean, it's got good armor. Do we want to put an AP gun on it? But then it's useless against infantry, and it's going to be bound to come up against infantry 90% of the time. And other tanks would be a minority of cases. We're going to go with the HE. And we shall have a look at the different... Give it a different scheme. And we're just going to have to come up with a name for it. And I think we're going to name this one the Quokka, which is a native rat of Western Australia, because it doesn't have much in the way of a bite. They're the cutest things and cuddliest things around. Well, I wouldn't cuddle one, but they're very harmless. So we will name it the Quokka Rev H to S to signify that it's a soft attack specialist, and we will design an. What have I not included in that? Half the crew requirements are met. Oh, the mechanic's not. Driver mechanic. Oh no! So it's failing on the mechanic. So if we take out the driver and just put a mechanic in, no. So if we make it a driver gunner, make it a commander mechanic maybe. No, we can't have a commander mechanic. It's got to be the commander gunner. It's got to be the driver mechanic. It's only a 2-man vehicle. We can't satisfy the mechanic requirements. Maybe... Oh, I see what it is. So the problem is this isn't the French engine that we have in it. So this here, the Daimler 4-cylinder, requires 2 crew. Oh, but the Schneider requires 4, so that will take even more crew requirements. Maybe it's the tracks. The tracks take too many crew. Crew requirements 3. I don't see how we can put this together with less than 5 mechanic requirement. We need 3 for the tracks, and we can't change that out. And we need 2 for the engine. If we go back to the reverse engineering, no, we won't save the design. We're still pulling across part of this. Oh, the one in there requires only 1. So that's how we make it work. We've got to pull this engine apart, then re-put it back to make our own version of it, and it will only take 1 point, and that will be above the minimum weight, and we'll get the mechanic requirement. Okay, jump the gun there. We shall continue on. And with our tanks now manufactured, we can send off the drop bears to Britain. Sixth of the 7th, possibility of 7 days, so we'll get them there at the latest by the 13th. Plenty of time. We shall send that off. Now we've got to start producing backup tanks, so we will try. We're going to have to start ordering in some goods. I have not done that for a bit, so we'll spend 5 days ordering that in. We might need to order from Europe, I'm thinking. That has been an oversight, so we shall get some expensive goods. We'll order in enough. I mean, we've got tons of rubber and high carbon steel and glass. We are out of iron and out of medium carbon steel. Now, because this is expensive, we won't order a boatload. So we'll just order one of iron and medium carbon steel. So that'll cost us 200 grand, and we've got more than enough money in the bank. We should probably spend some. So we shall get that ordered in, and then we shall start ordering again from Africa to get our supplies back. And with all that money in the bank, we should probably have a look and see how our buildings are going. So our warehouse has 4 buildings. It's got a tank depot, loading speed stations, unloading speed stations, and a naval freight station, which helps reduction of delivery time for tanks and resources. So that's maxed out. We can do with another design building. Reduction of tank design process time. 5% does not seem like a great deal. Reduction of defects severity 5% does not seem worth it. Functionality department reduces the resource cost and the man hours of our design tanks for building. 3% is not much, but I think that's what we're going to go for. So we will max out our buildings there. Engineering, I haven't built anything. I wonder, reverse engineering. Reduction time to reverse engineer projects 10%. That could be worth it. We'll also get an ergonomics office because we've got a ton of engineers that are quite often idle that we use in the design building when we're designing new designs, and we can use them in engineering as well. So we'll build one of those. That will do for now. Research is maxed out with 4 buildings. Cannot build any more. And the production hall. So we've got a riveting hall. I think what we want to buy is the bending hall. If we quickly go out and look at the designs that we're currently building, the drop bear and the skippy. Oh, this doesn't give us the readout of here down the bottom. So we could do with rolling, casting, there's bending. So the only ones we don't use are welding and hardening. And what about our Mark 5s? A Skippy 3, yeah, that uses everything except rolling and welding. So I think if we get a bending focus, we will be fine. So we shall jump back to the main map. And where is the bending? There we go. Bending hall 10%. We shall get one of those as well. So all of our buildings are now maxed except engineering, which we will think about and build more buildings there later. And Italy has put in for 20 new tanks, so contracts are coming thick and fast now, which is much better for the game. as the contracts were initially quite slow to come through, but now as more countries are looking for tanks. So we've now got 3 customers, Italy, France and Britain. So I suppose I should look at what they're looking for. They want protection, soft firepower and repairability, a fusillade tank, which we really want to build another Hermaphrodite Mark V for to fill that order, but we can at a pinch just sell them drop bears because they're pretty easy for us to produce. So it's not quite the amount of protection they want and no real hard firepower, so this is where a Hermaphrodite tank would come in much better. But a very strong success score. We should be able to max out the 52,500. So we could design a Mark V that would fit this, but the Mark Vs cost about 4,000 or 5,000 more. So if we look at our latest Skippy, cost 27,000 and this one costs 16,000, so that's an extra 11,000. And if we max out the price, which we can't do with the drop bear, so I was incorrect in my assumption. If we had a warehouse full of drop bears, we could have reduced the delivery date by some, but we've only got 1 in storage, so we will need some time to produce them. We can produce 1 a day, so 30 of them will take a month, so they'll be ready by the 29th of the 7th. So if we make it the 29th of the 8th, that'll leave us with a month to get them delivered, which will be about 2 weeks more than we need. But just in case something goes wrong, a fire or something, we'll say we can deliver them by the 29th. We'll maximise the money we make, so we'll say by the 30th. And how much money can we get? So we can get just shy of maximum price, just under 51,000. Our competitor is the Athena 4, which comes in for the same success score again, about 375 to 402. So we're starting to see the computer players iterate with the Athena Mark IV, but they're still not providing much of a difficulty for our tanks so far in the game. So we're on normal difficulty level. Whether that needs to be increased, the aggressiveness of the technology of the players, is something that will happen through early access when the devs have time to look at it, I think. But it's definitely a bit too easy at the moment, and I think the contract winning procedure maybe needs a bit of shaking up, because I can't see, as long as you've got a tank that's close to what they need, you're not really gonna, you just manipulate the sliders, always win the contract. So that'll be another contract 1 for Italy. Tanks are almost there for Great Britain. We've been paid for the French contract, so we shall. Okay, and our engine design is finished, so we shall go design an engine for our little FT17 that we're trying to develop. So where's that? A Renault engine here. So we shall start putting it together. We're mainly going to go for stats because we don't have a 10-ton limitation on what we're doing with this tank. We're going to be using it mainly as a light, highly protected tank. So we need to build it out of steel. And which side brakes do we go with? The Mark III, I think, hands down. Flywheel. Straight stats again, we're going for the Mark III flywheel. The carburetor, we've got the German one is looking pretty strong here. It's lighter, it's smaller, it's got good road speed, good cross-country speed, good power. I think that is the winner. Radiator. We've got a heavy version of the Mark III that's good for climbing slopes, so that's good for the reconnaissance phase and For the deployment phase, we've got the German radiator, which is much better for crew comfort but worse for the slopes, so that would help it out in the deployment phase. And we've got the French radiator, which I don't think is in the competition between the German and the... Oh, yep, we do have a nice French one. It's got very short operational range. It's sort of a mid... Well, it doesn't have the slope angle as well. Now, slope angle is substantially less than our crew comfort at the moment, so we'll go with the Radiator Mark III. And the transmission, it's going to be a question of road speed here. So the German has much better road speed, a bit less agility, and a better cross-country speed than both the French and the transmission Mark II. So what do we need? We've got middling road speed. What's our cross-country speed? Our cross-country speed is decent without being fantastic, and our agility is okay. Oh, decisions. So that's 23 total. That's 25 total. I think we go, and that's lighter, much lighter. Okay, we're going with a German transmission. So we shall begin working on that. 20 men, 6 days. So the best thing about this engine is it's a bit less underdone than our current engines, but it only requires a crew requirement of 1. And the Tyler is a better engine. It's got an attribute sum of 151, but I think our version of that's got 157 attribute sum. But the crew requirements are 5, and we've only got two crew members in the little FT, so we need a very frugal engine when it comes to crew points, and it only takes 1, so that is going to be our choice. So we will start developing it and come back when that's complete. And another customer has appeared. Austria-Hungary has announced a contract for 20 tanks, so this is good for us. We're getting these orders coming in thick and fast. So we're still making drop bears, trying to get some replacement tanks into storage. So this time they want a cavalry tank, which our drop bear would be good for. So 20 tons. They want some hard firepower though. I wonder if our little cane toad would be a good match for that. The Rev AH. So that gets a score of 394. If we go with a... I never kept the Schneider updated, the Huntsman. So if we go well back, do I still have that design, or did I? Oh, it only gets a score of 8. I never found a good spot for that tank. So the Drop Bear Mark II, we've got some of those in stock. That's only worth 296. I do not have a good tank for this. So they want something with good protection. A lot better the protection than the Drop Bear can handle. What do they think of the protection on the steel-made cane toad? I mean, that's strong enough. It's just, I mean, it's cheap. It's a 12-ton tank. It's got the hard firepower they need. It's got the soft firepower they need. I mean, that's what we're going to go with. But what are we up against? We're up against a 398. So, I mean, these are only going to cost us not very much to make. So I'm not that worried about price. sell them 30. We should be able to turn them around pretty quick, and that'll give us 2 months to build them. So we will cancel our current drop bear production and get straight onto making the cane toad for its first attempted export to Austria-Hungary. And we'll have to bring the price down a little more. Can we get the... Yes, so we'll win there. I mean, we'll still make money. Not much money compared to what we're used to making, but it'll still make money. Yeah, we'll take that contract. And we better get things happening in here. So we've got 21 days left of the drop bear. So this is going to waste a few resources, but we need to do it, I'm afraid. I think I'll start making in smaller batches to stay a bit more agile on our toes. So there's that's the correct tank, isn't it? Yeah, the Rev AH. So we will need 30 of them. How long is it going to take? So to make 30 takes 25 days, so that's going to give us plenty of time, but we will need more high carbon steel. So we do not have enough high carbon steel. So we'll make 20 in the first batch. We will order from the more goods from the warehouse. Let's go for an order from North America and get a ton of cane toad parts in. So this will be heavy on the high carbon steel, I think. We cannot sign order. Why can't we sign? Oh, we're waiting 6 days from the stuff from Africa. Okay. Cancel all that. We will be ordering from North America shortly, but we're going to wait for this stuff from Africa to come in. And there's a fire in the production hall. 13 days. This is actually going to make this contract quite tight. Was getting too complacent, and the fire is going to cause problems. So I will clear all the news, and we will see what happens in the future. Well, the contract was accepted. I didn't go to try to cancel the contract, which maybe on second thoughts I could have, but I think we'll still be okay. We're still fixing the fire. 9 days till we can restart production, and we can order our new goods from North America. So in a single order we can order enough for about 40 tanks, and no problem at all. That's probably a bit more expensive than what we wanted to do, and that's going to take 16 days. It should be fine, because once we get the fire fixed, which will be 8 days, then I'm pretty sure it was about 10 days worth of production to build the tanks we had queued up. So we should be fine there. And we'll just check and see if any of our tanks are fighting. We can do that at a glance with our battles list here. And it's all infantry, artillery and cavalry at the moment, so nothing to check there. And another disaster strikes. Accident in the production hall, 68 workers. So can we just put them back to work? We can. We have hired them straight away, so I'm not sure about... I mean, that disaster only seems to be a disaster if you're micromanaging your funds to the extent of hiring and firing workers every month, because your expenses are calculated on the first of every month, so you can technically speaking, if your say workers weren't doing much in the production hall at the end of the month, you could fire them, and then you've got a limitation on, if we go into administration, on how many you can hire that are available for hire. So at the moment there's a pool of 1,207 employees I could hire for my factory, but if you're hiring and firing all the time to maximize your money, then you might run into problem with accidents, like having enough people. But if you're not worrying about that too much, I guess on hard difficulty, it might be a lot harder with money that you need to micromanage that. But that just seems like a lot of busy work for for very little payoff. Anyway, back to the game. So we've completed 20 of our cane toad tanks. We now have more goods in as well, so we can build the rest. Whoops, that is the wrong button. We can send off 20 tanks, and they will come in with a month to spare. So we're going to do this easily in the end, besides the accidents and the fire both hitting our production hall. And we will go to the production hall and queue up another 10 of our cane toads. So that'll take 9 days to finish that. Assign that. We probably would have been better off just holding off on delivering the tanks until these 9 were ready, because it's going to take them 8 days to get there anyway, and we do have a month and a half up our sleeves. And with our last delivery arriving, we can send the rest of the cane toads off, and we really need to get around to fixing the defects on this tank. So they'll arrive by the 30th of the 8th, which within 2 weeks spare of making the grade. We will send them off, and we will not forget to throw some money at this tank to make it a better tank. If we go into design, I've also got to do that with the Joey, which I will remember to do straight after this. So we will throw money to fix the issues. So this is basically just getting engineers into the problem to find workarounds for the internal obstructions, which has an effect on the crew aiming statistic. And this goes across a number of statistics. These occur whenever we go above green in the mass, volume and crew limitations. You start to get defects in your tank. And some of these can be removed, but quite often not fully. So you'll see with the structure here, we can basically get 2 points back by spending $2,500 finding a workaround, but we cannot remove the structural inefficiency of this tank design completely. So there's still a malus on the stats of what it could be. And there we go. And before I forget, we will pop over to the proving grounds and put the Joey in, which I'll probably pay to get fixed. Oh no, the 3, I have sold a few of the 3s. So there we go. And we're just waiting for more contracts to come in at this point, or more tank capturing. Oh, our research has come good as well. Can't forget that. I will get the tracks research next, which will allow for a limit of 45 tons on our Liberty land ships. Oh, they must be huge, massive tanks. So we will get back to the production line with that, and we will start designing our new engine that we've just researched. So that is the Liberty 12-cylinder. So we'll put the side brakes Mark IV in that. Very heavy side brakes. I have a feeling a lot of the things in the Liberty engine are going to be quite heavy. The flywheel, looks like most of these are we might stick with the German carburetor that it takes up a bit more room, but so the only difference between them is the volume they take up. So the German carburetor takes up a bit more volume at the expense of weight, but with these new Liberty tracks taking 45 tons weight, I'm assuming this engine's going to be too big to fit in anything else. So we might just go with the heavy weight. I mean, the radiator's massive as well. So radiator Mark IV, I think we go for the biggest and best. And the transmission, massive. 1 ton for the transmission. Wow. Okay, that's going to take 16 days to design. We'll get our engineers on it. We still need the tracks after this to make a proper, well, and we'll need the combo sponson as well to make a proper Liberty. And if you're enjoying the video so far, please, if you could like it, that really helps. And if you've been enjoying this series of videos and you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. It's free. At the moment, with all of our buildings, we have maxed out the buildings except for the engineering workshop. So, but the thing is, I don't think we need a breakthrough office, because that's 5%. That's 1 in 20 for each project that it'll automatically complete. And these 10% bonuses to the speed of different things, like, I'm not always waiting for engineering to complete their work. It's research that you've always got people in. Well, when I remember to actually research things, but that's something that you've always got people in researching. But the engineering and design are not nearly as busy. There's a lot of downtime in both of those departments, and as we get more and more tanks, yes, I can see constantly keeping the men busy, and I should be keeping them busy because I am paying them after all, but there just isn't that much work for them to do that I need to pay the maintenance cost for extra buildings here. I mean, I don't really need the reverse engineering bureau or the ergonomics office either in this building. I'm flush with cash, so I've built them. And if we look at the maintenance cost on our buildings, contract number 16 losses. We've sent everyone these things, haven't we? Didn't I send them the drop bears? I'm sure. Then where have my drop bears gone? Oh, they're 2 days off. No, that's cane toads. Oh no, I'm going to... Speaking about money, and I thought I had a lot of money, I've done a bit of an oversight. I didn't realise I had this contract for Italy sitting in the background, and I have not... There's 1 day remaining. Oh no, I'm gonna get a penalty. 2nd Battalion of Italy. How many tanks did I send them? Did I send them any tanks? Oh, this is terrible. My memory is bad. No, they've gone with the Athena tanks. Oh no. Oh, I've forgotten to fulfill a contract. Oh my, that is unforgivable. That is unforgivable. Oh, the pain. Oh, that's fine. We've just about finished the contract for Austria-Hungary here, and we've still got a barrel of money. (29th of the 8th). I thought I'd built those and I'd sent them off, so I don't know. I will have to go back and review the footage, because I've made so many mistakes in the last couple of episodes, which has, I think, been obvious to everyone, but that mistake I don't remember making. And seriously, it happened in the last 5 minutes, so I'm at a loss for that. And we've finished testing the Skippy Mark III, so we can finally remove the defects from that design. They've been kicking around forever. So I wonder if the tanks that I supplied, I can't even remember who I supplied the Skippy Mark III to. I am terrible. But I wonder if now, after I've produced them and sent them off, whether making the design better now makes a difference to the tanks when they perform in the field. Because so far I have done it where I didn't have all the defects fixed when I put in for the contract, because it was a newly designed tank. The process hadn't finished yet, and it didn't make any difference in negotiating a price for the tank in the amount of points that I got for the tank in the negotiation process. So that would be the prestige or the fame that the tank has that gets lost because of defects. Didn't really have a difference on the contract, but we shall see, we shall see. So I have 20 Drop Bear Mark IIs in reserve. I will make that an even 30, enough for one contract, and then I will decide on what else I need to build. I might make some cane toads for... And the other thing I need to do is we'll get back to designing the FT17. Now that we have the engine completed, so we'll put in the Renault. Got the, not the mechanic, the mechanic driver. I'm going to not be happy if that doesn't pass a 2 out of 4, doesn't pass the 50%. Oh, it's because it doesn't have petrol? Can we make it? Yes, we can. So we now have the Quokka is in design. This is most excellent. Most excellent. So that in 14 days we'll be ready to take that for a test drive. Okay, and the Quokka has finished designing, so we will put that into the proving grounds. And we will take the little vehicle into the test track and give it a whirl and see how it performs. So our little FT17, we have no engine sound, which is unfortunate. So I'll have to report that bug to the devs. But it's quite a nippy little tank. It's handling it a lot nicer than the cane tow did, the LK. It's a lot quicker off the mark, and this must be because of the tracks, because the engine in this is more underpowered than the LK engine that I put in, which was the Tyler. I put that in for I can't spray bullets with this little gun. I wonder if there's a machine gun I can get from somewhere to put into this. Ultimately, when we research the Vickers, it would be great to be able to... Oh, don't tell me I missed from here. This... oh no. Well, we can't take out the targets, it appears. I mean, did I get points for hitting that? I mean, if we got the points, no. Try it on this one. Well, there seems to be some error at the moment that we have with our FT17, with our SA18 gun in it. It's not registering hitting the targets, but and we won't be able to finish the course because of that. But it drives quite nicely, and it feels quite good. It's very agile, very good turning circle, and I mean, it only does 20 kilometers an hour, which seems to be a hard limit for all the tanks at the moment. But it reaches full speed very quickly and turns on a dime. So it's a very nice little tank. But at the moment, we cannot complete the test pack. So I'll report that bug, and hopefully the devs will get on it, and it'll be fixed in time for early access tomorrow. It probably is, to be honest. They've been working hard on the release version of the game for the last month, so more power to them. And that's just a bit unfortunate. We won't be able to finish the course. I was having no trouble getting through the second trench or any of the problems I've had on the course before, but can't hit the targets. And I'll save going back through that at the moment. That is unfortunate. So we've got 11 days to build more tanks. We've got things coming in. We've finished engineering the Liberty engine, but we're now just waiting 3 weeks on the tracks, and then we have to engineer the tracks and we can put together the Liberty. But I think for now that will be enough for this episode, and I will save the construction of our first proper Liberty for tomorrow's episode. Thank you all very much for hanging around and watching, and remember, please, if you could throw a like on the video, that'd be great. It really helps the channel out, and if you're not subscribed, just have a think about it. Alright, take care everyone. See ya.